Hi, Nathan here, founder of Embodied Excellence, certified high performance coach, and creator of the Infinite Possibility video series. I want to share with you this week a quote that I heard from one of my mentors. And it's from Donnie Epstein, and this is what he says, is your life, meaning your relationships, your job, your finances, all that stuff, your life is a perfect manifestation of the level of energy that you are choosing to play with. And when I heard that, it just really hit home. And I was like, that is so accurate. I started reflecting on all these different areas of my life. And I would encourage you to look at the different areas in your life. Where have you felt stressed lately? Where have you felt frustrated or stuck? Or what are some of the areas that have maybe seemed more challenging to you lately? And as you look at those areas, I would invite you next to really look at what level of energy have you been choosing to play with? How much energy have you been bringing into those situations, into that stuckness or into that challenge or into that frustration? You see, what happens in life is we all set up habits and routines or rituals. Now, some of us do this more specifically than others or have more of them than others. But no matter who we are, we all tend to fall into some sort of a rhythm, and that rhythm could be considered your ritual or your habits. And so as you look at these habits, I want you to notice that, over time, what's going to happen is we as people, we change. We change over time. We hope there's some development, some growth there. And as we change, sometimes we forget that we need to update our rituals. We need to update our habits because they may not serve anymore. They may no longer be serving that version of ourselves that worked for us then, but it doesn't quite work for us anymore. We need something that's the new OS, right? That new operating system that's fast, that's going to have all these cool bells and whistles and functions and features that's top of the line, state of the art. And so as you look to update your rituals and your habits, before you do that, you might notice that as you're looking and reflecting on, okay, where am I feeling stuck and challenged? And I want you to start to notice, is there a stuckness because of the way that you're viewing it? Are you viewing it as something that is either this or that, A or B, black and white? You know what I'm talking about. So have you limited what's possible because you feel like there's only two alternatives? One is right and one is wrong, and of course you're always right. So when that happens, very often what we do is when we are in a situation that feels stuck or where we feel frustrated, is either we tend to stop putting our energy at all into that situation because we feel like it's just not going to go anywhere, that the other person is going to be unrelenting in their position. And so we just decide that, okay, I'm not even going to put my energy there. And then over time, things just stagnate and probably get more frustrating or more of a challenge. Or the other thing is the only energy we're bothering to put into it is that we're right. It's my way or the highway. And then if we do that for long enough and we notice that that's not working, then we're going to default to the other one where we just stop putting energy in at all. So think about your relationships with your loved one, with your kids, with your family, with your friends. You know those relationships where you've probably said to yourself, I wish we were closer, or I wish there was more connection there, or I wish there was more intimacy there. Well, if you've ever had those thoughts, I want you to check in, do an integrity check, and just notice how much energy have you chosen to bring into that situation? Or have you sort of given up or just gotten comfortable with where you were in that situation and kind of stop trying to bring the magic in? Perfect example, say you have a loved one, significant other. When is the last time that you really took the energy to do something really thoughtful? And I don't mean like buying an expensive gift. I mean maybe sneaking messages or hiding messages in a purse or a wallet, or leaving little love notes, or maybe leaving encouraging notes for your kids. So all of these things are different ways of us bringing more energy into those relationships, into those situations. And that's going to determine how we're dancing in those relationships. What is the quality of those relationships going to be? Same thing at work. Are you really putting in that energy that you did when it was your first week at the job and you really wanted to impress and you really wanted to kick butt? So are you bringing that same level of excitement, that same level of innovation? Or have you gotten stagnant and sort of fell into a rhythm and developed these different stories about what's possible and what's not? So what I'd like you to start doing is to get out of this mindset of right or wrong, is just to start asking better questions. Questions that are going to stimulate your mind a little differently in a more productive way. So what I mean by that is, instead of saying it's A or B, ask yourself, how could I improve this situation? How could I optimize the situation? How could I make it better? When you ask questions like that, it's going to stimulate your brain to come up with different solutions. Instead of it having to be one way or the other, now your brain is going to be focused on solution. It's oriented towards making something better for, maybe not just for you, but for all the parties. So that's what I want to encourage you to do this week, is take a review, take an inventory of your life, and notice those different areas where you're feeling challenged, where you're feeling stuck, or maybe where you're feeling bored, frustrated. And as you write those down, as you journal about those, I want you to journal all the different areas, or as you journal on those areas, I want you just to write down any thoughts that come to mind about why that situation might be the way it is. Start to take accountability and acknowledge your own participation, and ask yourself, how much energy have I been choosing to play with in this area? Because it's always a choice. Why have I been choosing these more negative thoughts versus this whole range of positive thoughts I could have over here? Why am I choosing to feel these crappy emotions that don't make me feel good, instead of choosing to feel these emotions over here that are really uplifting and exciting? So go through and really journal about these. Notice how these different thoughts and feelings are making you feel physically in your body. And as you do this, you're going to start to probably notice a pattern emerging as to where you are putting your energy and where you're not. Because we can be doing really awesome over here and then not doing so good over here. So it's not an all or none, zero-sum game. Some areas we're going to really be kicking butt, some we may not. And it's not about doing less here so that we can do more here. It's about still kicking butt over here, but finding ways that over here we can start to optimize more, so that we can improve all the areas, but keep the other areas high as well. So that, again, is your challenge for this week. Take that inventory. Where are those areas you're feeling stressed, frustrated, just totally you're at the end of your rope? Where are those areas you're viewing as maybe that black and white situation, A and B? Start to journal. Notice what your level of participation or lack of participation is in those situations. Acknowledge that for what it is without judgment. Just notice, I haven't been playing with a lot of energy here. And then ask, how can I make this better? How could I improve this situation? And then see what answers start to come out from those kinds of questions, and see what makes sense. Do what makes sense. Take action in that moment of inspiration. As Tony Robbins says, always take action in that moment of inspiration. So, as you do this, I would love to hear any of the stories that you come up with. What are some of the changes that you're going to be making this week? I'd really love to hear you and have that participation in the comments down below. Also, if you feel like this video has served you and someone else may be able to do something with this message, I'd really appreciate it if you just like or share this video as well with friends or family. And until I see you next week is, just a heads up, next week is week number 52 of my 52-week challenge to post a video every single week. So I'm really excited for that video. I hope you will check in with me next week as well. It's going to be a very special episode. So I hope to see you then. Until I see you next week, go out there every single day and be an extraordinary ambassador for humanity.